and balanced trade.
Now at 6, the U.S. and China just announced a deal on tariffs, how much they will be cut and for how long.
Plus, a new push to prevent boat smuggling after a deadly incident off of our coast.
As an immigrant parish in these times now, in this new administration, this is something we can do.
The local church challenging an immigration policy.
You're watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
Thanks for joining us at 6 a.m. on your Monday, everyone. Hope you had a nice weekend and a nice Mother's Day. It was very nice for that. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Netta Irampur, right? The weather was on the side of anyone who wanted to be outdoors, although it did get really hot early Saturday. I was like, whoa, this was fast.
So
it was almost a taste of too much heat.
Yeah, it was very hot. I got a tan out there. I was laying out by the beach. I mean, we know a lot of people had the same idea that I had, considering the parking situation out there. It was a record-setting weekend in some cases. I printed out the list of all the spots where we broke some records, but here are a few of them. San Diego, Vista, Chula Vista, Riverside, Escondido, Ramona, Alpine, Campo, Thermal, and Borrego. Y'all broke your highest daily temperature records for May 10th, I should specify. Those temperatures were mostly in the 80s, 90s, and triple digits out there. But now, this trough of low pressure is sliding in, switching everything up on us. The summer-like weather is going to be left behind. We see an increase in cloud cover to start off your Monday. Cooler temperatures in the 60s and 70s instead. Coming up, we'll talk about what the rest of the week looks like and about the wind that we'll be seeing across our local mountains and deserts. Back to you.
Well, new this morning, the U.S. and China say they will temporarily reduce the tariffs they added to each other's imports. The U.S. tariff on China will go from 145% to 30%, and China will cut its tariff on the U.S. from 125% to 10%. This will begin Wednesday and last 90 days. The countries say they are committing to ongoing trade talks during that time. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent made the announcement overnight.
Sides on the reciprocal tariffs will move their tariffs down 115%.
The announcement comes after officials spent the weekend negotiating in Switzerland. Stock futures are up. The Dow is expected to be well into the green. We're going to see exactly how those markets react here in just 30 minutes. Today, Hamas says it will release Eden Alexander, the last known living American hostage in Gaza, as part of ceasefire talks. The 21-year-old Israeli-American soldier from New Jersey was kidnapped in the October 7th, 2023 attack. President Trump said, quote, "Hopefully this is the first of those final steps necessary to end this brutal conflict."
In a couple of hours, Congressman Mike Levin and other local leaders will call for federal funding aimed at preventing future boat smuggling incidents.
And this comes after that Ponga capsized off the coast of Torrey Pines last week, killing 3 people. CBS 8's Regina Yarita live in Del Mar now with more on how the funds would be used here and the federal crackdown happening along our border here. Regina.
Hey, good morning, guys. That's right. And this press conference is not only to provide or at least highlight the need for more federal funding to prevent smuggling incidents, but also to bring more federal funding for surveillance towers. Now, Representative Mike Levin says he will focus on efforts to help prevent future tragedies and invest in the need for more maritime border security. Today's push is partially in response to the recent suspected smuggling incident. On May 5th, a Ponga boat carrying 18 people capsized off the coast of Del Mar, leaving 3 people dead and 4 others injured. Authorities say 1 person from that boat is still presumed to be missing. They have also confirmed that 5 people have been charged in connection with the smuggling attempt. The recent Ponga boat incident has made national headlines and brought even more concern among leaders. But a spokesperson for U.S. Customs and Border Protection tells CBS 8 that the agency has noticed a decrease in encounters since the beginning of the year, with the San Diego sector being able to allocate more resources to address the maritime threat. On the other hand, the Human Rights Council of Oceanside says their members have reported increased Border Patrol sightings in North County, and they say it's only impacting communities living here.
It does impact the health of our communities. It impacts our ability to host outdoor events, right? People don't show up because they're afraid that there's just extra Border Patrol or immigration activity, period, in our communities.
And human rights advocates like the one woman that you just heard say that they need to find at least alternatives coming from state and federal leaders to address the border crisis here in San Diego. For now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Regina, for that. This morning, a local church is joining a legal fight against the federal government. Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish in Logan Heights is now helping challenge a Trump administration immigration policy that allows ICE agents once considered off limits. These are places once considered off limits. They joined several other churches and an Oregon area labor organization as plaintiffs in a lawsuit against several defendants, including Homeland Security and Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
I see parishioners, though, nervous about the laws and the executive actions that are being taken. Like any, I think, pastor worth their salt, want to do whatever I can to make my people feel safe and welcome.
A DHS spokesperson says, quote, "We are protecting our schools, places of worship, and Americans who attend by preventing criminal aliens and gang members from exploiting these locations and taking safe haven there, because these criminals knew law enforcement couldn't go inside under the previous administration." That was their response. They also say agents use discretion and officers would need secondary supervisor approval before any action can be taken in churches or schools, which they expect to be extremely rare. Starting tomorrow, sewer work in Mexico may temporarily increase sewage flow into the Tijuana River Valley, leading to even stronger odors and more beach pollution in the southern end of San Diego County. So a heads up to beachgoers. This project meant to improve wastewater systems and prevent future contamination problems. U.S. and Mexican officials say they're working together to minimize the impact. South Bay residents are advised stay indoors during strong odors. Use those air purifiers or recirculating AC, and have medication ready if you are sensitive to air pollution. Free air purifiers are also available. You can find more details on the county's website.
This morning, one person is dead after a crash involving a motorcycle and an SUV in Costa de Oro. It happened around 8:30 last night at the intersection of Explorer Road and Avocado Boulevard. 2 other people were hurt. We don't know their conditions yet, and it's unclear what caused that crash. 2 people, including a 5-year-old boy, are in the hospital after flames raced through an apartment complex in City Heights. 1 dog, unfortunately, died in that fire. It happened around 5 p.m. yesterday on Home Avenue. The fire burned through 2 units and filled the whole building with smoke. Fire crews say they helped evacuate people trapped in the building by pulling them out of windows. No word on how that fire started. And trial expected to begin in federal court today for a former San Diego County Sheriff's deputy who shot and killed a man who was running from authorities. Back in May of 2020, Aaron Russell shot Nicholas Biles multiple times as he tried to escape from custody. Russell pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 1 year in jail. But he now faces federal charges. He could face life in prison if convicted.
Chula Vista is considering supporting the governor's lawsuit on tariffs. Today, Chula Vista's deputy mayor, along with several council people, will announce a resolution to express support, which will be then presented to city council tomorrow. Right now, Governor Gavin Newsom and State Attorney General Rob Bonta are suing the federal government for its use of emergency powers to enact sweeping tariffs. The lawsuit argues President Trump lacks that authority. A White House spokesperson previously responded to the lawsuit by saying Newsom should focus on addressing crime, homelessness, and high prices in his state instead of trying to block tariffs. This morning, there's a push to improve safety at the intersection of El Cajon Boulevard, Park Boulevard, and Normal Street. This is in University Heights, an area that many say is confusing and dangerous. Councilmember Stephen Whitburn will hold a rally at 9 a.m. right at that location after his petition gathered more than 1,000 signatures. Whitburn is requesting a study to evaluate design changes, including perhaps a roundabout.
All right, taking a peek outside here. Things are going to cool down after that steamy weekend we had.
Yeah, 90s in triple digits over the course of Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. Sunshine. It was summer on full display, but it is short-lived because now we're right back to our typical spring weather. Yeah, May gray. You thought it was coming and going quickly. No, it is coming back with a lot of strength. This week we're expecting the morning clouds to stick around for a little bit longer throughout the morning stretch, and then for the afternoon conditions to bring about partly cloudy skies with temperatures mostly in the 60s and low 70s out there. You can see how far east those clouds stretch right now. Here's a live look outside. You can barely make out Mission Bay there in the background. Otherwise, though, some of those clouds are low down to the ground, leading to limited visibility as we start off the day. We're going to watch for wind speeds to pick up this afternoon. We're already in the 40+ mile per hour range across our deserts, but take a look at how those winds continue to climb over the course of the afternoon, and that includes along the coast and inland where we'll be around 15 to 20 miles per hour. This is all onshore flow, so this is pulling the cool, evaporated, moist air from over the ocean and pushing it onshore. That's why we're seeing that increase in clouds, and it's also why we're seeing that big temperature cool down. This trough of low pressure basically inducing a ton of cold air to arrive into San Diego County. So we'll watch as winds pick up this afternoon. A wind advisory is in effect for our local deserts for today and tomorrow, and then it expires early Wednesday. When we look at your temperatures right now out the door, we're mostly in the 50s and 60s. It's mild overnight. By the afternoon, we're barely going to make it more than 10 degrees warmer than where we're at right now. So the afternoon highs will mostly be in the 60s and 70s out there. 5-day forecast shows that there's a lot of stagnation out there, meaning that between now and Friday, there's not a lot of change on your afternoon highs, mostly low to mid 70s out there. Tomorrow is the standout where those temperatures are going to slide even more. AM clouds and PM sun. Some models even include some scattered showers in the forecast for tomorrow that we'll be watching out for. Aside from that, Wednesday through Friday, we're back to 70s, partly cloudy skies, and then the weekend shows a chance for some wet weather that we'll talk about in just a few minutes. Let's take a look at how traffic is so far. It hasn't been affecting much of the morning commute out there. Slower speeds on the Coronado Bridge midspan, but that's about all we have to contend with to start off your morning. Let's take a look at what we have as far as your border wait times, where it is still pretty slow out there. Sometimes we get a Monday where things kind of speed up a bit across the border. Not today. San Ysidro Port of Entry is still going to take you over 2 hours, about 2.5 hours. Otay Mesa Port of Entry will run you about an hour 40 in total. That and Eric.
Thank you very much, Evan. Still ahead here, can President Trump accept a plane as a gift from another country?
Plus, what it means if the White House suspends habeas corpus. And what Pope Leo just told journalists. Also his message in his first Sunday blessing.